Chapter 4. Indus-Mesopotamia relations are thought to have developed during the second half of 3rd millennium BCE, until the extinction of the Indus Valley Civilization after 1900 BCE. Mesopotamia had already been an intermediary in the trade of lapis lazuli between South Asia and Egypt since at least about 3200 BCE, in the context of Egypt-Mesopotamia relations. A first period of indirect contact seems to have occurred as a consequence of the Neolithic Revolution and the diffusion of agriculture after 9000 BCE. The prehistoric agriculture of South Asia is thought to have combined local resources, such as humped cattle, with agricultural resources from the Near East as a first step in the 8th-7th millennium BCE, to which were later added resources from Africa and East Asia from the 3rd millennium BCE. Mehrgarh is one of the earliest sites with evidence of farming and herding in South Asia. At Mehrgarh, around 7000 BCE, the full set of Near Eastern incipient agricultural products can be found: wheat, barley, as well as goats, sheep, and cattle. The rectangular houses of Mehrgarh as well as the female figurines are essentially identical with those of the Near East. The Near Eastern origin of South Asian agriculture is generally accepted, and it has been the virtual archaeological dogma for decades. Gregory Possehl, however, argues for a more nuanced model, in which the early domestication of plant and animal species may have occurred in a wide area from the Mediterranean to the Indus, in which new technology and ideas circulated fast and were widely shared. Today, the main objection to this model lies in the fact that wild wheat has never been found in South Asia, suggesting that either wheat was first domesticated in the Near East from well-known domestic wild species and then brought to South Asia, or that wild wheat existed in the past in South Asia but somehow became extinct without leaving a trace. Jean-François Jarrage argues for an independent origin of Mehrgarh. Jarrage notes the assumption that farming economy was introduced full-fledged from Near East to South Asia, and the similarities between Neolithic sites from eastern Mesopotamia and the western Indus Valley, which are evidence of a cultural continuum between those sites. But given the originality of Mehrgarh, Jarrage concludes that Mehrgarh has an earlier local background, and is not a backwater of the Neolithic culture of the Near East. Sea levels have been rising about 100 meters over the last 15,000 years until modern times, with the effect that coastlines have been receding vastly. This is especially the case of the coastlines of the Indus and Mesopotamia, which were originally only separated by a distance of about 1,000 kilometers, compared to 2,000 kilometers today. For the ancestors of the Sumerians, the distance between the coasts of the Mesopotamian area and the Indus area would have been much shorter than it is today. In particular, the Persian Gulf, which is only about 30 meters deep today, would have been at least partially dry, and would have formed an extension of the Mesopotamian basin. The westernmost Harappan city was located on the Makran coast at Sutkagan Dor, near the tip of the Arabian Peninsula, and is considered as an ancient maritime trading station, probably between modern-day Pakistan and the Persian Gulf. Seagoing vessels were known in the Indus region, as shown by seals showing ships with land-finding birds, Dishakaka, dating to 2500 to 1750 BCE. When a boat was lost at sea, with land beyond the horizon, birds released by the mariners would securely fly back to land, and therefore show the boats the way to safety. Various stamp seals are known from the Indus and the Persian Gulf area, with depictions of large ships pertaining to different shipbuilding traditions. Sargon of Akkad, c. 2334–2284 BCE, claimed in one of his inscriptions that ships from Malaha, Magan, and Dilmun made fast at the docks of Akkad. Many archaeological finds suggest that maritime trade along the shores of Africa and Asia started several millennia ago. Indus pottery and seals have been found along the sea routes between the Indus and Mesopotamia, as in Ras Algins, at the tip of Arabia. Clove heads, thought to originate from the Moluccas in maritime Southeast Asia, were found in a 2nd millennium BCE site in Turksa. Evidence for imports from the Indus to Ur can be found from around 2350 BCE. Various objects made with shell species that are characteristic of the Indus coast, particularly Trubinella pyrum and Fasciolaria trapezium, have been found in the archaeological sites of Mesopotamia dating from around 2500 to 2000 BCE. Carnelian beads from the Indus were found in Ur tombs dating to 2600–2450. In particular, carnelian beads with an etched design in white were probably imported from the Indus Valley, and made according to a technique of acid etching developed by the Harappans. Lapis lazuli was imported in great quantity by Egypt, and already used in many tombs of the Naqada II period, circa 3200 BCE. Lapis lazuli probably originated in northern Afghanistan, as no other sources are known from that time, and had to be transported across the Iranian plateau to Mesopotamia, and then Egypt. Several Indus seals with Harappan script have also been found in Mesopotamia, particularly in Ur, Babylon, and Kish. The water buffaloes that appear on Akkadian cylinder seals from the time of Naram-Sin, circa 2250 BCE, may have been imported to Mesopotamia from the Indus as a result of trade. Akkadian Empire records mention timber, carnelian, and ivory as being imported from Malaha by Malahan ships, Malaha being generally considered as the Mesopotamian name for the Indus Valley. The ships from Malaha, the ships from Magan, the ships from Dilmun, he made tie up alongside the quay of Akkad. Inscription by Sargon of Akkad, ca 2270–2215 BCE. After the collapse of the Akkadian Empire, Gudea, the ruler of Lagash, is recorded as having imported translucent carnelian from Malaha. Various inscriptions also mention the presence of Malaha traders and interpreters in Mesopotamia. About 20 seals have been found from the Akkadian and Ur III sites that have connections with Harappa and often use Harappan symbols or writing. Various authors have described possible iconographical influences from Mesopotamia to the Indus Valley. Gregory Possehl notes Mesopotamian themes in Indus iconography, particularly designs related to the Gilgamesh epic, suggesting that some aspects of Mesopotamian religion and ideology would have been accepted at face value is a reasonable notion. Damodar Dharmananda Kozambi also describes the presence of Gilgamesh on Indus seals. In the archaeological sites of the Indus Valley Civilization, 24 stone hematite weights of the Mesopotamian barrel-shaped type were found at Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. There are also many instances of influence the other way round, in which Indus Valley seals and designs have been found in Mesopotamia. Some Indus seals seem to show possible Mesopotamian influence, as in the Gilgamesh motif of a man fighting two lions, 2500 to 1500 BCE. Several Indus Valley seals show a fighting scene between a tiger-like beast and a man with horns, hooves, and a tail, who has been compared to the Mesopotamian bull Maninkiju, also a partner of Gilgamesh, and suggests a transmission of Mesopotamian mythology. A few rare cylinder seals have been found in Indus Valley sites, which suggest Mesopotamian influence. They were probably made locally, but they use Mesopotamian motifs. One such cylinder seal, the Kalabangan seal, shows a battle between men in the presence of centaurs. Other seals show processions of animals. Others have suggested that the cylinder seals show the Indus Valley's influence on Mesopotamia. These may have been due to overland trade between the two cultures.